Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley. This year, 2021, I'm going to attempt to try some TBR videos with a heavy emphasis on the fact that these are a wish list and not a goals list because I am 100% a mood reader, and I've always been a mood reader and I will probably always be a mood reader, and so I have to give myself space to read the things that I'm in the mood for. But with that being said, I have a lot of books that I am in the mood for, and depending on how I read them, it might determine whether I finish the series or whether I pick up a new book. I don't know. We'll just document this because it's the age of social media and we can document everything we feel like. So I could potentially read every book on this list. I could also potentially read none of them and toss them all aside for some new fantastical things that I have yet to encounter yet. Also, I started a new job and I no longer listen to audiobooks while I work, so my book consumption is probably going to go way down. My toddler is quite a bit older now than she was at the beginning of last year, and so I can't just listen to audiobooks in the background because, human to human interaction is important in a growing tiny human, and I want to provide that. So I can't just listen to audiobooks at the same rate I have been, which really sucks because that's how I finish most of the new books that I read, is I put them on hold at the library and then make time to listen to however many hours of audio that I want. So, I have no idea how many books to expect that I will finish this month. I've been averaging about maybe 10 books a month, with half of them or 3/4 of them being an audiobook, and then maybe a fourth to a third of them being an actual physical book. And this month it's going to be a heavy emphasis on reading actual physical books, so I'm expecting this to be a slow month in terms of reading, which is fine, because part of my emphasis for this year is to read books more slowly. And all my circumstances are conducive to that, which is why I set that goal. Anyway, so let's get into the narratives. The narratives. Let's get into the stories. Who calls books narratives? Okay, number 1. Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. This is for a book club that I participate in, and I had heard nothing about this book. This is a novel about a girl named Eleanor Oliphant, and she thinks she's living a normal life, and it's clear from reading the book and the way that people interact with her that she is not. It's a very, very interesting narrative. Trigger warnings for suicidal ideation. This book does delve pretty heavily into mental illness and how that feels and affects you. Another book that I'll probably finish because I started it in December is The Slippery Slope. This is the 10th book in a series of unfortunate events. I got this from a thrift store and the sticker will not come off. So, hello sticker. I am pretty far into this. 2/3 maybe? I have been rereading the series of unfortunate events, but I've been really enjoying this series. I read through them so fast the original time that I read them, and I missed all of the humor. All of the amazingness of this book just went right over my head. I love this series. I can't really talk about it because it's the 10th book in a series. But if you've never read the series of unfortunate events, this follows 3 children, 3 orphans, and they are sent to live with a man named Count Olaf, and he is a terrible caretaker for them. And he gets his rights removed, and then he starts to chase them around the country as they go from caretaker to caretaker, and he keeps showing up to try and get his hands on their fortune because they have a massive fortune. I just love this series. So here's what could happen. I'm going to finish Eleanor Oliphant, and then I'm probably going to jump into this book, and if I'm just enjoying this book, then I will finish the rest of the series. There are 3 more books, plus the unauthorized autobiography, that I could just see, that's the way the rest of my January goes. Or I might read 1 chapter in this and be like, not in the mood, and then go on to another book. So the other thing I've been really feeling the need for is fantasy. So I have 2 options for that. I have Strange the Dreamer by Lani Taylor, and then I have Inkspell by Cornelia Funke. I'm pretty sure it's Funke. And I could This is the second book. This is the first book. I could finish both of these series. Inkspell, if you're not familiar with this world, is about a girl and her father her father has the ability to read characters in and out of books. And this series follows what a disaster that could be. I read the first book last December, and I picked the second book up, and I read 2 chapters, and I was like, satisfying, but I'm not in the mood to continue with this. And now I am. Also, Strange the Dreamer, one of my favorite books. I've read this twice, and I just want to be in this world again. I just want to. So I would probably, if reading this one, move on to the sequel. So really it just depends on what I'm in the mood for and what I continue on. Like I said, this is a wish list. This is a choose your own adventure. Could go lots of different ways. The next book is Robinson Crusoe. I had to double check the title. Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. This is the story about a man stranded on a deserted island and how he survives. So it's a heavy emphasis, I believe, on the actual survivor aspect of being stranded on a deserted island. And I'm really excited for that. This is written in the end of the 16th century, end of the 1600s or the beginning of the 1700s. So I guess to me it feels more authentic, but I don't know if that's official. This will probably be the first classic that I pick up for the year of 2020, but I'm not positive. And then the last physical book is The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I have heard so many things about Robin Hobb, particularly from Becca and the Books. She's reading a trilogy about ships that come to life after 3 generations have lived on the ship. And in order to start that series, this is the series before that series. So I'm going to try reading The Assassin's Apprentice. I've heard lots of really, really good things from so many people. And this is something that I probably would just listen to on audio. But because I don't have access to audiobooks or time to listen to them as much as I have in the past, this will definitely be a much slower go. I actually picked up the first and the second books yesterday. So if I like the first book, then I can move on to the second book. If I don't like the first book, then I might just skip them and move on to the Live Ship Trader, I think is the name of the series, just because the idea of a ship coming to life after and getting a personality, like that's just fascinating to me. So I might just skip that and move on to that series and then maybe come back. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, and then as far as audiobooks, I'm listening to Arcanum Unbounded by Brandon Sanderson. Luckily for me, this audiobook has not been requested by anybody, so I've probably had it for 6 weeks. And I mean, for having had it for 6 weeks, I haven't made my way through more than like 24% of it. I finished The Emperor's Soul in December, and no, that's it. I mean, I've read Edge Dancer, which is part of that, so I could knock off some of that, but it's just going to be a slow go. And I have on hold the 4th book of Brandon Sanderson, The Stormlight Archive. I have that on hold. It's actually come in, and I had to let the next person read it because I just do not have time right now to finish 60 hours of audio in the next 2 weeks. It's not going to happen, and I'm going to have to get my hands on a physical copy of this book, and I don't know how that's going to happen either. So I am really frustrated that I can't just pick that up and dive into that world again because I want to know. I want to know. It's out, and I'm ready, and it's not happening. Anyway, I also have A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I think is the name of the prequel to the Hunger Games, and I am excited for the prequel. I haven't heard great things about it, but I'm excited because I'm still new to this world. And if that comes in, I'm going to do a lot of things to try and make that happen because it is a shorter audiobook. And I feel like in a 2-week period, I probably could listen to 15 hours worth of audio. I don't know. We'll see. This is going to be tricky. I also have Kira Cass. She has recently written a new book called The Betrothed, and I don't even remember what this book is about other than there's a betrothal between a princess and somebody, and I don't even care, honestly, because I loved the selection so much. There are going to be lots of things wrong with this novel, and I just don't care. So I want that one to come in too, so I can listen to that. So anyway, there's lots of things that lots of ways that this could go, and I'm kind of excited to see what happens. I will do a wrap up and let you know how things went. And I think that is all the things that I have to say on this subject. So I'll talk to you all later. Bye!